change the things around you. Oh, what you gonna love inside of you? Oh, when you gonna hear his revelation? Oh, oh, let it move inside of you.
Welcome, beautiful souls, to Infinite Perspectives, where voices become vision and vision becomes transformation. I am Michelle Diamond, the voice, creative, author, and co founder of this exceptional platform. Linda?
Yes, I am Linda Boston. Thank you, Michelle. I'm the founder of Peer Incorporated, which stands for Portable Educational and Entertainment Repertoire. I'm an author, a singer, an actress, also a co-founder of this wonderful platform and your co-host for this evening.
Amazing. Thank you, Linda. Tonight's conversation is not simply about success. It's about what happens when life interrupts the plan. Because many people begin life believing they are writing the story, only to discover life eventually edits the pages.
Yes.
And sometimes the chapters we resisted become the chapters that saves us.
Oh, that's powerful. And we live in a world that teaches people to keep moving, keep achieving, keep becoming, without ever asking, becoming what?
Mm,
Because movement does not always equal alignment. Huh?
I love that, Linda.
Come on.
And tonight, we lean into a deeper question. What happens when the script changes?
Mhm.
When what once fit no longer fits? When life gently or sometimes painfully asks us to evolve? Infinite Perspectives is proudly brought to you by Peer Incorporated, Next Level Promotion, a division of Infinite Perspectives brand, Moniker Enterprises, Carlotta Cole, the brand, Unlimited Networks Property Management, and our new partner, All Generations Foundation.
Wonderful. And tonight we welcome a dear friend of mine, Randy Scott, jazz musician, record producer, composer, educator, visionary, speaker, innovator, a man whose journey reflects something many people quietly experience. Things like reinvention,
Mm,
mhm, and discovering purpose beyond limitations.
wow.
Yeah.
But beyond the titles and beyond platforms and beyond accomplishments, tonight asks something much deeper.
Okay.
Who are we when life asks us to become someone we never expected?
Wow.
Randy,
Mhm.
welcome to Infinite Perspectives.
Thank
Tonight,
you.
you are welcome.
Mhm.
And tonight, we're not simply discussing where you have been, we are exploring what transformation requires.
Mm. Well, thank you so much for having me. It is a true pleasure to be with you. Um, and I'm just so grateful to be here.
Oh, we are happy to have you. Ah, such such a breath of fresh air. I've heard so much about you, and
Thank you.
we can't wait to delve in and see how life rewrote the script. So
Mhm.
before the transition, Randy, before redirection, and before life shifted, can you tell us who was Randy Scott?
Well, a musician and educator. I've been teaching school instrumental music for the past, actually, this is year number 30 for me, which is crazy. It
Ooh.
doesn't make any sense. And I'm only 28 years old. It don't make no sense.
I'm right there with you.
It's that common core math that nobody understands. But anyway, um, when I was probably, I don't know, 9 years old, I think whatever age you are in the fourth grade, it was fourth grade. They asked, what instrument you want to play. My mother was a huge fan of Grover Washington Jr., and she had every single record he had ever done, playing them all the time.
Ooh.
And I really wanted to play the drums. She and my dad took me to a Grover Washington Jr. concert, which was sold out. People were going crazy, and he was just in his own world, just having a ball. And I said, that's what I want to do. And so I picked up the saxophone, fell in love with it, started learning every single Grover song. Like, I literally knew all the notes from every song. I couldn't play all the notes because I was a beginner, but I knew what they sounded like, and I could hum them and play some of them. And so when I reached I was about 12 years old, I got a straight A report card one year, and my reward was to meet Grover in person. And so they set up this meeting, and he was filming a commercial for donating blood to the Red Cross.
Wow.
And didn't have his horn, but I brought mine. And to this day, I'm wondering, why did I bring my horn to this commercial? Because I wasn't about to play in front of Grover. And he ended up using my horn in the commercial. And
Come on.
we became really good friends from
Look
that.
at alignment.
It was
Yeah.
divine. From that moment until he passed, we were very, very good friends. So any city that he was in, that I was in, he would bring me on stage, and
Beautiful.
he was my mentor, my hero, and my friend. I had a few scholarship offers, one to Berkeley in particular, School of Music in Boston, and another to Michigan State. The Berkeley scholarship was to study jazz. Michigan State was to study classical. And I asked him, what should I do? And he said, you really should hone your foundational skills in classical that concentrates on technique and tone development and all the fundamentals. And because if you don't sound good, nobody's going to want to hear you. So that's how I ended up at Michigan State. That's how I ended up in Michigan, originally from the East Coast. And my dad got a promotion with GM at the same time. It was just alignment, like you just said. And so I just decided to try to become this jazz saxophonist at some point. And that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I've known you for 150 years.
He just said he was 28.
Right.
Okay?
I know 28 years. And my meeting of you, I remember distinctly seeing you at a concert, and you were playing a soprano sax, maybe. And you held that note, and it was the first time I heard you really do that circular breathing thing. And I was like, dude, what is that? But I remember us meeting. Kim was at a Jackie Vaughn party, and you were there, and I was there, and it was wonderful to talk. And then we collaborated together. So the theme song that you hear on our show was composed by you.
Yes.
So you and I co-produced that. You and I co-produced my CD in 2012.
Yes.
And it was an evolutionary experience for me working with you, because you pushed me to do some things vocally that I really didn't want to have to do. And change has got to come. That was like, I didn't even know it was down up in there. So
But
I owe you for that.
oh no,
You've been
no.
very supportive throughout my life, with
Well,
all of that.
I really appreciate you saying that, but it was such a joy to work with you because you're such a professional. I
Yes.
mean, just you're such a professional, and it
Thank
wasn't. It was so easy because of that. You know,
Oh, that's a
um,
blessing. Thank you. I
indeed,
appreciate you saying that. Was
indeed.
there a moment when you realized the life you imagined was beginning to change into something else?
Yeah, like all of us, I've gone through ups and downs. As life happens, and I remember at one point after graduating from college and not I wasn't teaching, I was just doing music full time. I was working for a gentleman named Michael Powell who produced Anita Baker and other
Yeah, yeah.
folks.
Mhm.
I was doing some independent freelance work with my brother. We started a production company called R&R Productions.
Yeah.
Um, and being a full-time musician where that's all you do, there are lots of highs and lows. And I remember a low distinctly where it got real low and
Yeah.
money was really slow at that point, and things were just not happening. And I was my mom saw it in me. She saw it all over my face, and she said, you really need to pray about this. And she gave me the suggestion of writing down um, anything that I wanted to ask God for. And
Mm.
she made a point not to, she said, don't make it something that's just really silly, or trivial, like a game or something materialistic. She said, write down some things and place it in your Bible and pray on it daily. And I did that. And it was something because I don't know, some years later I found that note in the Bible that I had. And
Mhm.
literally I wrote down 10 things, and all 10 things came true.
Wow.
Including the relationship that I have with my wife, including the home that we've created, and
Mhm.
um, including my career as a musician. And um, I quite honestly didn't think it was going to happen. At one point, I didn't think it was going to happen. Success in on the level that I wanted in the music business. Um, and quite honestly, it took me until after I turned 50 to see that real success, even though I'm only 28. It took me until after age 50, and I have a story about that. Well, I'll share it with you.
Yes, please do.
I was with a record label called Trippin' and Rhythm Records. They're a Sony distributed label, probably
Mhm.
the largest jazz label at the right
Right.
now.
Yeah.
Um, and I had done a couple records with them, and they just did nothing was happening. Um,
Mm.
I got to the third record with them, and I decided I felt like, okay, if and I've given my all in every record I've ever done, but I felt like, oh, after this third record with them, if it's not happening, I'm just gonna just kind of give up on the music business. I won't ever stop playing, but I'll just be throwing my hands up. So
Mm.
I invested my own money and time into producing this record. I think maybe 2 years I spent, um, and a lot of my own money. The label offers to pay, but I chose to use my own money
Mhm.
for business purposes.
Mhm.
So 2 years and maybe $15,000 to $20,000. Finished the record. I sent it in, and they didn't like it, and it was a blow. Like I felt defeated
Mhm.
and discouraged and ready to give up. and they said, "Well, uh, we have a producer that works for us that we want you to work with."
Mhm.
And I was just kind of numb for maybe 3 or 4 months after that.
Mhm.
Ended up working with their producer, who is a really good friend of mine now, named Michael Broning, and um, it all went well. We did a song, and it came out great. He got a bit busy, so I started working on things. Things started just coming to me, but I don't know, I wasn't enthusiastic about it, but I started just writing and writing and writing and writing. And lo and behold, I had rewritten the majority of the record. And then
Mm.
Michael and I together did a few more songs, and resubmitted the album, and they loved it. And ended up getting three back-to-back Billboard #1s from that record.
Mhm.
So as
Mhm.
much as in it, I've told this story to some students, actually my son in particular, who um, plays baseball, and he got discouraged because he kept striking out at one point. And I said, you know what? I want you to think about the fact that I have 7 albums. Multiply that by 10, because it's 10 songs minimum per album.
Mhm.
And if you think about it, I kind of struck out all those times, 70 times.
Mhm.
And just when I was about to give up, the door opened, and I
Yeah.
had success. And as discouraged as I was by the labels turning down that first project, they really helped me, because I ended up coming up with a better record.
Mhm.
And I'm so grateful for that. Um, Also really grateful to Michael Broning, the producer I was mentioning, because he taught me. I had to humble myself, because I had been doing this a long time. I'm At that point, this was right during COVID. This was like 2020, 2021. And at that point, I had been in this music business for a long time, but I humbled myself to be a student. And every time I got on the phone with Michael Broning, I was taking notes. Anytime the record label made a comment, I was taking notes and making changes, and then applying them, because you're never too old to learn. And what I was doing before obviously wasn't working. So I'm just extremely grateful to have persevered that, and have gained additional knowledge to now know,
Mhm.
how, what to do and how to do it. Um,
Right.
so yeah, that's my story about that part of my life, and the overcoming that, and
Mhm.
Right.
pushing. You got to keep pushing. That's
Mhm.
the
Absolutely.
biggest piece of advice I have for anyone trying to do
Yeah.
what I do.
Very true. And you talk about the changes that you went through with that, and this brings to mind then, with any change or anything emotionally that you experience when it comes to your craft, right?
Mhm.
Would you say that people sometimes outgrow versions of themselves without
Oh,
realizing it?
most definitely.
That's good.
That's
Yeah.
deep, but it's very true. It is so true.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's also
Yeah.
it's also just about growing and maturing, and um, coming to realizations about yourself. So that's what it is for me.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Before wisdom arrives, many people are performing identity instead
Yeah.
of living truth, right?
Hmm.
So do you ever feel pressured to become what others expected instead of who you truly were?
Mm, that's good. That's a great question. Well, yes, especially in the music business, because you know my background was founded in classical music, but
Mhm.
then it evolved to practicing a lot of straight ahead and bebop. And then
Mhm.
that eventually evolved into practicing and studying jazz fusion. So I had all these style influences in gospel, of course, but those really technical, um, difficult to play styles of music, and I wanted to put them on my records. I
Yeah.
wanted to, oh, and I tried, but at the same time, to your point, um, I had to conform to radio or
Ah,
radio's expectations,
mhm.
which is not that. It's
Right.
completely the opposite. And so yeah, there was that, and then the other side of what I think you're asking,
Mhm.
just from the standpoint of like after that, the success of that record that had the three number ones, I felt this pressure of trying to live up to that expectation
Mm,
and do better than the last record. There's a lot of pressure I was putting on myself, and so I was
right.
down here in the studio doing like this for hours just because I had such pressure on myself.
Being your biggest critic.
Yeah, yes. Um, but as I mature, I start to not have what people expect of me to be an issue. You know,
Mm.
you know what I mean? Because the best example is if you ever, and we all know older people. Older people don't care. They say and do whatever they want. They don't
It's
care what
great.
you
It's
think.
Because
wonderful.
they're set in their
Yeah.
ways.
And the older I get, the more I feel like that.
It feels good, man. I'm telling
Right,
you.
right, indeed.
That's funny. Uh,
Mm.
well, we had a comment that came in from Charles. Hi, hello, Charles. Thank you for tuning in. He says, and this is to your earlier share when you shared what your mom told you to do to go to God in prayer.
Mm.
And he says, prayer changes things. So,
Indeed,
absolutely. Thank you for
indeed.
that. Indeed. So, Randy, with all the shares that you've done in hysterical, being set in your ways and being your biggest critic, what would you say were parts of your earlier journey that you now realize were preparing you for the man you are today?
Mhm. Yes.
Mm. Oh, that's a great question. Um, I believe that pressure creates diamonds.
Mm,
And
indeed.
so
Mhm.
the more that we go through in life, especially adversity, it molds you into being stronger, into being better, wiser, all of those things.
Yeah.
So, and I can remember some unfortunate um molding in college,
Mm,
some racial things that happened to me there, that at the time I wanted to quit. In fact, I called my mom and said, I'm coming home. I'm not doing this.
wow.
Mm.
um and and you know, it was through her encouragement that I stuck it out, and it just made me stronger. And then most recently, I think about the fact that last year I had a very significant battle with cancer,
Mhm.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm now a 1 year cancer survivor.
Oh,
And
Yes,
thank you.
congratulations.
And again, pressure, all of that, adversity and things that we go through make us better and stronger and wiser. And I believe that I'm much better in many ways as a result of going through that.
Yeah.
Most importantly and significantly in my faith and walk with God. Um, I think that's been a significant. I mean, I grew up in the church. I grew up playing in church, and I grew up having faith in God and all of that. But I think going through that experience has made me closer to Him,
Mm.
and um, I know that experience, I've gone through that to be able to help someone else. So that's why now, at every opportunity, I share my story about
Right.
having gone through cancer. And so, and in fact, right after I shared it, I didn't share it until I got through it. But once I
Yeah.
shared it on social media,
Mhm.
I can honestly say that at least once every other week, I get an inbox or a text message if someone knows me, but most of the time it's been inbox on either Instagram or Facebook from someone who has seen my post, who is going through it,
Mhm.
and they reach out to me and have questions and things like that, and that does a lot for me because it makes me feel like, this is what I'm supposed to,
Part of
it's
the
part of my purpose.
yes.
It's
Mhm.
part of my purpose. And so yeah, I think things like that, adversity and all the things that we go through definitely mold us and make
Mhm.
us wiser.
Yeah, yeah. Um, we had a question up, didn't we have a question up there for a second, Michelle?
Yes, it's still there. It's over in the comments. I'll pull it back for you. 1 second.
Uh, it said, this is from Charles Lewis again. Okay. Have you ever reached a point in your life where you lost your passion for music?
Yes. And anybody that is in music for a significant period of time will tell you the same thing. It's yes, absolutely. Um, for one reason or another. For me, it was because of my frustration with working so hard on music and never having it get out of my basement. That
Mhm.
was one of them. That was one of the times.
Mhm.
Another time it was that felt like I was practicing the wrong things and never getting better.
Mhm.
Um, Another time it was because I was relying on music solely to pay my bills, and it wasn't doing it. And in the meantime, uh, my house note and my car note and all the other notes were consistent. So yes, there. I mean, the list goes on. I can give you at least 10 times in 10 different ways in which I've felt that way.
Mhm.
So yes.
Yeah. Many people create plans and timelines and expectations only to watch life take unexpected turns, right? It
Indeed.
always happens. What happens emotionally when reality no longer matches those expectations?
Mm. Disappointment, uh, anxiety.
Hmm.
If you're not rooted in faith, it could be fear, you
Hmm.
know. And even if you are, it could be fear. But if you allow your mind to wander, so
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, all of those things.
Yeah. It's interesting because Mark Fincannon, he's a casting director down here, and
Hmm.
he tells actors to have something else that you do that you love. I'm an actor, I'm a singer, I can give you some sense of arts infused literacy connection, but
Hmm.
we're doing this show here, Infinite Perspectives. We cannot wait for the world to knock on our door. We have to do things that help us to bring all of our gifts together and find our purpose. That's what
Yes.
all that's about, man.
And I'm glad you said that because I've had so many, especially students who or kids who they see the success part, or they see, the materialistic side of something that I might have, or whatever, and they think that they can just do music
Mm-hmm.
and it'll sustain you, and that is so not true. I mean, you have to have as many different irons in the fire as possible as an artist, and to your point, it's really important to try to make them things that relate to each other or that you have a genuine interest in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can say this for musicians who only do music, hats off to you if you can make it work, but it's always good to supplement your income in some other way. It's going to be, it takes a lot of stress and strain off of you. You don't have to do every single gig that comes your way.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was teaching, because I do love teaching. But it also, I got my master's degree in IT because I'm a computer nerd, and I was able to tie in those things musically. So
Okay.
the Logic software that runs on Mac computers, I
Mm-hmm.
was using before it was owned by Mac. So I got to teach some of the Apple employees on Logic. So
Wow.
tying those things together to supplement your income is so important.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm, that's true. So I appreciate you elaborating on that. And I want to follow up with, how do we know the difference between failure and redirection?
Whoa. That's deep,
Yeah.
Michelle. That's deep.
Well, I think it was Nelson Mandela that said this, that you never fail. You either win or learn. I'm saying this all wrong, but
That's
but
okay.
This is your phrase now.
Yeah, right,
I'm
right.
saying that all wrong, but basically, I don't know. I think failure is essential, and I've talked to my students about this, when it pertains to music, failure and business. Failure is essential to success. I mean, because
Mm,
you're learning every time it doesn't go right. You're
Mm-hmm.
you're
Yeah.
learning how to make it go right.
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
And I know that, I can't remember the name of the company, but there was a particular company that would not invest in in people unless they failed, because again,
Mm,
it was it's what teaches you,
Mm-hmm.
and so anyway, yeah, to answer your question, I think failure is essential.
Mm-hmm.
um and you said, what was the other part of your question? um
It was
oh,
between.
well,
Yeah.
pretty much it was talking about failure and redirection.
Redirection, that's what I was looking
Mhm.
for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and because the failure part will teach you what that direction should be.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
Sometimes life removes certainty before revealing purpose.
Mhm.
So, did transition ever force you to trust yourself differently?
Mm.
Mm.
Did you have to look at Randy in a different kind of way?
Yeah. Um, I think the whole cancer journey,
Mm,
Mm,
it made me do that for sure.
yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we think life is closing a door because
Mhm.
we're unworthy,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes life is simply refusing to let us remain where we have become too small.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed.
And there are moments in life when change is not a choice. Moments that arrive unexpectedly and ask us to confront things,
Yeah.
we never planned for. You've
Yeah.
openly shared your journey as a cancer survivor. How did that experience change the way you see life, Randy?
Well, before I get to that, just based on something you said just prior. Um,
Okay.
I was doing all the right things. I've always been try to stay healthy in terms of eating really well and
Mhm.
Yeah.
eating clean and working out. Like I used to run marathons.
Wow.
Right after my knee started having questions, I got
Mhm.
into biking.
Mhm.
Mm.
Just before my cancer diagnosis, like literally 1 month before my cancer diagnosis, I had just done a bike race in Detroit called the Tour de Trois, which is um, a 62-mile bike ride. And I, as I mentioned, I mean, I was able to do that race. I felt good. And 2 weeks later, I did another 60-mile ride, and then got that diagnosis.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I mean, you could be doing all the right things, or in life just has a way of just you know taking you out of
Take you right out.
the path you were on. But
Yeah.
and what please forgive me, what was that question, the
Well, the
last part of
question
your
was,
question?
how did that experience change the way you see life?
I don't take I I don't take things as seriously as I used to. Like little things don't bother me
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
as a result of going through that.
Yeah.
um I'm more appreciative of things that most of us just take for granted.
Mhm.
you know um I'm really, really grateful to just be here, because I know there are many people who have gone through what I've gone through and are not here.
Yeah.
And so it just makes me so much more grateful for my family and for time and for, you know, things that used to bother me just don't bother me.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. I feel you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, Before I move on, and thank you for that share and great
Yeah.
question, Linda. We have some more questions coming in, and I
Mhm.
like to give the audience their question.
Sure.
MW 1959 says, so Facebook was in my business again, but this time led me to listen to two of my favorite people. I'm loving the reflections on your life, Randy. From
Oh,
the
thank you.
stage, I always felt you were a spiritual person.
Mm.
And MW came back with, whose family was a major party of your life? Your homily shows through. Continued success. Linda, I love this platform for you, Meredith. Oh,
Oh, thank
gratitude,
you, Mary.
Meredith.
I
Thank
love
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you. Uh, so we are grateful that you were very transparent with us, Randy,
Mhm.
sharing your journey and overcoming and being able to ring that bell and being
Yes.
a survivor. So huge advocate.
Yes.
So many people talk about surviving physically, right?
Hmm.
But sometimes the emotional and spiritual journey itself is
Mhm.
just as profound.
Yeah.
Yes.
What did that season teach you about yourself?
Oh man, that I think that was harder than the surgery I had. It's just
Mm,
the mental part of it is harder than anything. I mean, just because your mind wanders, especially when
Mhm.
you hear cancer, your mind just goes crazy.
Yes.
yes.
And so that was so hard, just trying to, you know, keep that together. And I literally didn't tell very many people. I think just my immediate family
Mhm.
knew. Not even my kid. I didn't even tell my kids until
Oh,
a few weeks. It was about a month maybe before my surgery,
Mhm.
because my daughter was at Michigan State, my son was in school, and I just didn't want them, being distracted. Um and the other issue was just people's reaction.
Yeah.
I hated telling someone and having them or hearing them break down. I'm like, I'm not breaking down. I'm all right. So,
Yeah.
but
Right.
that was emotionally a mess for me, just hearing their reaction. So that was another reason why I didn't really want to share anything.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but yeah, the emotional part of it is very difficult. But again, if you're relying on your faith, and I was listening to a lot of sermons, um
Mhm.
and going to church still, but all of the downtime I was listening to YouTube sermons, and it was really helpful, to keep my spirits up. But that's probably, in my opinion, the biggest challenge, because if you can keep your mind right, then your
Yeah.
body has a tendency to follow.
Follow. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Did,
yeah.
so did it change your understanding of time or of
uh
purpose or of what truly mattered?
oh
Mm,
yeah, for sure.
that.
It definitely changed my perspective on what truly mattered, because
Yeah.
from the moment I found out until I got over the hill, all I could think about was my family, to be
Mhm.
Mm,
honest. Nothing else
mm,
really
Matter.
mattered.
mattered. So
For
true.
sure.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Wow. So when you came through that chapter, Randy, and
Mhm.
Mhm.
I know, you know, from experience with family, it's a little sensitive.
Yeah.
What parts of your perspective would you say never truly return to what they were before?
Mm.
Mm.
Hmm.
Um, that is a hard question. What didn't return to what it was before? Um, the need to, I don't know, just you know how when you're younger, you you say, all right, I want this $1 million house, and I want to be a billionaire, and you
Mhm,
know
mhm.
none of those things matter anymore.
Mattered.
Even I'll go as far as to say this: even my career as a successful musician, when I got through that journey, none of that mattered to me.
None of that mattered.
It really just didn't.
Yeah. The platinum on the wall.
None of that, and it still doesn't. And none of that matters. The awards don't matter. Billboard charts
Mm,
don't matter. None of that matters. The thing that matters most to me is my family,
Mhm.
me being able to live my purpose, and be be a be a light for other people, to bring
yes.
hope and joy to other people.
Yeah.
That's what really matters to me.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. And that I love that you said that because
Mhm.
sometimes the greatest gift hidden inside adversity in itself is clarity. And you
Mhm.
Yeah.
gain
Yeah.
Yes.
everything else that you were thinking about, that facade of, oh, the big house on the hill,
Mm,
none of that truly mattered. It
mm-mm.
was the items that were truly priceless,
Yeah.
Yes.
So when life reminds us that time is not guaranteed, we often stop postponing the life we were
Mhm.
meant to live.
Mhm.
And then we truly begin living it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, with all of that and your experiences, reinventing without losing yourself, we see that people often celebrate reinvention, but rarely discuss the grief that
Hmm.
sometimes accompanies becoming.
Mm.
What parts of yourself did you have to release?
Mm.
Mm. The I guess it goes back to what I said a moment ago. The idea of being rich and famous. you know, that is so released for me.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I just want to make really good music,
Mm,
make
I love
people
that.
feel really good about it and about
Mhm.
themselves when
Mhm.
when I talk to them or meet them. Um, I want to I want to continue to give my give kids um, the knowledge that I have about music and about the business side of music. And
Mhm.
so yeah, none of the accolades matter anymore to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I love that.
You've evolved wonderfully, and that evolution has gone on through time as things have changed technically. You
yeah,
know,
Mm,
because I think about AI and how uh, a lot of people, a lot of younger people, are not interested in the instrument as much as they're interested in the board.
mm,
And I have some same folk I know that feel like AI is taking the desire to play an actual instrument away.
true. It's
I
very
don't know
true.
how you feel about that, but
Yeah, so the whole AI thing, it, I've had a roller coaster of emotions about that. So
yeah.
when I first found out about it, I had two clients that I was producing or about to start projects on, and I think one of them even paid a deposit, and we were ready to start working,
Mhm.
and they pulled out and they said, uh, "I'm not going to need you to produce it anymore because I'm using Suno,
Yeah,
which is a AI platform."
that platform.
And at first, it really made me angry. Not angry with them per se, but with the
Mhm.
whole idea that AI
Mhm.
was taking away, the
Authenticity in some way.
yeah, authenticity, the creativity, all of that.
Yeah,
Um, and then I decided, let me get this and see what it is.
that's about. Uh-huh.
And as you know, AI is not going away.
Right.
It's actually increasing. So my goal was to figure out, how can I use this as a tool, and you know
Mhm.
and not be so so upset with it. And so I
Yeah.
got it, and what I realized is it's actually a good tool for generating ideas.
Yeah.
But that's where the line is. That's where everything
mhm.
stops.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
for a couple of reasons. Number one, um, radio stations eventually will catch on, but right now Spotify is the first to say that they're not playing any AI generated music,
Whoa.
and
That's
so
good to
they
know.
and I believe there are, I think, I don't quote me, but I believe iHeartRadio is also
Mm.
trying to do that, and some others. And there's even, I am not familiar with this yet, but I was told that there is AI detection software that will detect it. And
Mhm.
if they find that your song is AI, they are not going to play it.
Mhm.
And there's a whole philosophy on what is going to happen with that.
Mhm.
Um, I believe that eventually Suno subscribers will be locked into Suno.
Mhm.
If they're doing all their music there and not, hiring musicians or playing the stuff themselves.
Yeah.
Is the whole philosophy about that I have. But anyway,
Yeah.
I know it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great creative tool, but it cannot replace. The other reason I know this is because at least one of those artists have come back to me and they said, I want you to change this because when you get something AI generated, it's not perfect,
Yeah.
and there's things that you may want to change. So in order to change it, I need the individual tracks, the drums on the track, the bass on the track, and Suno can do this.
Yeah.
Well, what I discovered is when you solo those instruments by themselves, they sound horrible. Together, they sound wonderful. When you
Wow.
separate them, they sound horrible. And you may end up, like, if you solo the keyboard track, for example, you may end up having reverb and effects and percussion stuff on the keyboard track. And it sounds really, it's not all of the stuff. It's just really weird. So,
Yeah.
So my job as a producer is still in place because of this, which is good.
Yeah.
But yes, it is definitely something that needs to be talked about. I'm so glad you brought it up because it's really a big it's a really a big thing. I think the number one song in the country a few months ago, number one gospel song was completely AI generated, and the number one country song in the country was completely AI generated. And so it definitely it's definitely an issue.
But but the system itself is correcting itself, it appears, because of the detection.
Well, I don't think that I'm not familiar with the AI detection software. I know it's not within the platform Suno or others like it. I think it's a completely separate entity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know much about that.
Well, we are fighting and discussing the same thing on the acting realm.
I'm sure. Yes.
Years we're still fighting about our protections as actors because 90% of the actors are folk like me.
Yes.
Not everybody is an A-lister. Not everybody is a James Earl Jones or Jamie Foxx or Angela Bassett. Most of the folks in the union are folks like me. So we're dealing with it. We're finding ways to get through as actors, and it's happening. What helped you stay grounded while navigating change and reinvention and uncertainty? What helped you to ground you?
My family and my friends, family and friends. That's the main thing. And then also for me personally, staying grounded means like I can go on YouTube right now and bring up 100 different saxophone players and producers and songwriters who are 10 times better than me, some of whom are in third world countries sitting on a stoop, who are out playing or playing circles around me. So it's very easy to be humbled by that. And so knowing that there are so many people, so many talented people, that keeps me humble, but also just my family and just
I love that.
Yeah, that humility and all of that in you is part of that growth. It's beautiful.
I appreciate
Until it asked us to release what once made us feel safe, and then good going on. Success often looks beautiful from the outside, but many industries quietly consume people. So what truths has the music industry taught you about identity, survival, and protecting your spirit?
Wow. These are some deep questions, boy.
Yeah, we're going to dig it deep.
The music industry, about identity. So I think one of the things that it taught me is that if you try to emulate somebody else,
Mm.
by the time you've done it, it's old. And they've already done it. And so I think the biggest lesson for me in that is to be me, to be authentically me. So, and to the point of what I said a moment ago about there being the thousands of people who are better than me, I can't, I used to focus on that. When I was young, when I was younger, I used to focus on that because, especially as a jazz saxophonist, I go into back in the day, you can go in a nightclub and there'd be a jam session and other saxophone players and musicians just going up on stage. And I was always comparing, like, oh, maybe I'm as good or better. And now I don't do any of that because there's so many people better. But the thing is I've learned to try to be the best me. I have finally, it took me till I was 50 years old, but it took me that long to find my voice as a musician, that thing that makes me and not sound like everybody else. So now my goal is to just be the best version of me, the best to hone my sound, which is different from everybody else, to make that the best it can be. I'm not trying to be better than anybody else. I'm just trying to make my stuff the best I can make it.
Stay in your little lane, right?
Stay in because I'm good in my lane.
Right.
If I swerve out of my lane, I'm not so good.
I love that. So with all of that, Randy, what point did experience stop feeling like survival and begin feeling like responsibility? Because we know there's a difference between surviving something and becoming called to guide others through it. Yeah. So when did you feel that experience stop feeling like the survival and begin feeling like a responsibility?
It was kind of after when I got over the hump of not comparing myself to other people. That's when that started.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the answer. that's when it started. And I can't remember exactly when that happened. I can't remember exactly when that happened, but when I stopped doing that is when it happened.
Well, that is a great answer, because a lot of people don't realize how important that is that we are all unique and we have a purpose, and our purpose was already written for us way before. Right. Yeah, before we could even put name to it. So once we learn to stop comparing ourselves and thinking, oh, that person is better than me, oh, I want to, then you understand what your true responsibility and purpose is. Love that. Thank you. You hit the nail right on the head.
And one of the things that made me realize that, it was something I heard. Who said it? Somebody said this. It was another artist that said, when you was it Layla Hathaway? It may have been Layla Hathaway, but it was when you take a solo or play or whatever, or sing, it's a combination of your life journey and experiences. And so it's your story. And so who's to say that my story is better than yours or yours is better than mine?
It's better than mine. Exactly. There you go. It's your story to tell. I love it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, now you're stepping into, you're a magnificent educator, and you're stepping into through the music business A to Z. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
New project. Why was it important for you to begin sharing the knowledge behind the spotlight?
Mm. So
Ooh.
that's great. That's a great question and great segue.
Mm.
So I'm doing this big workshop on excuse me, I said the wrong month. July the 11th. July
Okay.
11th here in the Detroit metro area.
Awesome.
There's a Steinway grand piano gallery that's beautiful in a suburb here. And so Tim Bowman, who is I think he's got 19 Billboard number ones. It's crazy.
Mhm.
And Mel Brown. Mel Brown is a bassist who has played on literally every jazz record known to man, um, from George Benson to Al Jarreau to, I mean, you name it, he's on every record.
Yeah.
And so the three of us are developing this workshop called the Music Business A to Z. And we're going to kick it off here in the Detroit metro area and then possibly do a tour, and which will eventually lead to an online course as well.
Awesome.
And to answer your question, Linda, I signed some really bad record deals earlier in my career, where one deal, in fact, I didn't get a dime, like not 1 cent, and it did really well. It like went to number one in Denmark of all places, but I never got paid from the record, and it was due to that really horrible deal that I signed. And so, and it's not just that. It's not just about record deals. This workshop is going to be about how to be a side musician, how to supplement your income, how to do copyrights, publishing, royalties.
Yes.
There's a lot of, because the music business is ever changing. There are different new and different platforms. One in particular, it's been around a little while now, called Sound Exchange, that collects royalties, especially from like Sirius XM radio and stuff like that. There's another called the MLC, which collects mechanical royalties. There's another called Song Trust that collects international royalties. So we're talking about ways in which you can get your money, but also, how to just do things, even from the standpoint of songwriting and music production, mixing, mastering, all of the elements that take you from the very beginning of a project to the very end,
A to Z.
And so that's what we're doing it, just to help people, because a lot of people don't know, or they think they know, but they don't know.
I love that. You took the questions and answered it straight out of my mouth. So I love that.
Yes. So July the 11th, Steinway Grand Gallery in, I think that's Commerce Township, right near Novi, Michigan. But then eventually we're going to branch it out. So definitely look for us.
We're looking forward to that. Yeah, we'll have to have you back, especially when you go online.
Absolutely.
And we're going to actually have special guests at all of the workshops.
Love that.
Speakers from companies like Sound Exchange, ASCAP, and BMI, publishing companies. We've got this first one. We have Marlon McCain, who's he's gonna be out of the country, but we're gonna put him on a screen. He's gonna do a Zoom during our workshop. He's the manager. He does a lot of things. He's Tim's manager, but he also manages Charlie Wilson and some other big name entertainers. Just to talk about, answer questions and talk about the business.
Yes, we need to learn more about it. We have another partner and myself that we're right along those terms, very much interested in that. So gratitude
Thanks.
for sharing that with us. You know,
Absolutely.
sometimes the greatest form of success is not simply making it through the system. Sometimes true
Mhm.
success is leaving behind a map. And I'm
Mhm.
grateful that
Mhm.
you're doing so.
Thank you.
So others do not lose themselves trying to enter it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well said.
Yeah. What does legacy mean to you now compared to earlier chapters of your life?
Mm.
That's a great question. So when I first got out of Michigan State, as I mentioned, I was working for Michael Powell. I was doing things independently as a musician. Um, was fighting teaching. I didn't want to teach, but I kept getting put in this teaching situations. I had a friend of mine who was a principal, and his music teacher was going on maternity leave. He said, "Can you please just do this long-term sub position?" I was like, "No, I don't want to do it." He said, "Please do it." So I ended up doing it. Then that was cool. If it was a long-term sub position, it ended. Same thing happened right after that. Another teacher on maternity leave. They asked me to do it. I did it.
That's for pre-order.
And right. And then another situation where the teacher left/got fired at the end of the school year. And they asked if I
Wow.
would finish out the school year. So,
Finish out.
right. And so that was the last school that I volunteered to help. And that was the school I ended up staying at for 28 years. Uh, only
Beautiful.
supposed to be there for 3 months, but anyway.
Right. Them kids
Um,
letting you go, man.
right. So, and even then I kept fighting. I just didn't want to do it. I wanted to be a musician.
Right.
And I kept fighting it for years. And after about, and I know this seems like a long time, but after about 10 years, something clicked. Like I looked at it differently.
Yeah.
I changed my perspective.
Perspective,
And
yes.
so instead of getting up in the morning and saying, "Man, I'm so tired. I don't feel like going." I heard a pastor say, what you speak comes into existence. So I started saying, I was mentally convinced myself I was never going to say I'm tired. I'm never going to say I dislike this job. I dislike these kids. I made myself not say those things. And then eventually my perspective started to
Yes.
shift. It really, it took 10 years, but it started shifting.
Yeah.
And then I started speaking based on that sermon I heard. I started speaking what I wanted to happen. So every single day from that point until now, when I get in front of my students, they come in the classroom, I'm standing there. The first thing I do is I say, "Good morning," or I say, "Good afternoon." And I tell them, I said, I need y'all to say it back to me in unison. I said, it just starts stuff off real good. It makes me feel good. I said, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that every day. So ever since then, that's how we start every class, every single day.
Yeah.
And what it did was it shifted everything. And so then I started to have a genuine concern and interest with each individual student. And I tried to make them feel safe. I said, look, when you walk through B100, whatever's going on in your world outside of class, because I know y'all go through some stuff. So whatever's going on, when you walk into this room, it's all about peace and tranquility. I got diffusers going. I got mood lighting. I don't have a big overhead bright light. I got mood lighting. I got diffusers. I got this lemongrass scent in the room.
Come on, the best.
And I have, as they're walking in, I have spa music in the background.
Yeah.
This is how I'm
Look,
rolling
you set
every
the
day.
look, he affirmed it, manifested it, and delivered it all. He
Yes,
set that
yes,
energy right in motion.
yes. So we set the energy, and so now I get some of the baddest kids are sent to me, and we have a little transition period where they have to just get to know me because they test me and all of that.
Yeah.
But I've maintained the fact that before I used to take it personal. Some kids say something crazy to me, I used to take it personal. But I realized it ain't nothing I did. You were just having a bad day.
You had a bad day. That on me.
It's nothing I did. And then once I realized that, then I redirected all that negative energy coming to me. And I said, you know what? You having a bad day, aren't you? I said, listen, you walk through B100. It's going to change now. So
I love it.
it just changed, not just for them, but for me. So now all of the really tough kids love me, and I love them right back. They dap me up. They still do crazy stuff when they leave my room, but in my room, they are
While in
saints.
B100.
While in B100, baby, they are saints.
I know that's right. Look,
And
whatever you do, you leave it at the door. If you choose to pick it back up when you leave it, that's what you do. But don't bring it in here.
Right. And so what I teach them, I tell them, I said, look, I don't care if you won't learn a single note from me. You are going to learn how to be professional, on time, and kind. I said, those three things, I don't care if you don't learn a single note. So we have this saying, because we do a lot of competitions and traveling, and we have this saying that says, and all the kids know it, all the way until they're into their adulthood, to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. And to be late is unacceptable.
Yes.
And we have another saying that goes like this, that I learned when I was online, with my fraternity, but I have since passed it on to them. And it goes like this. Excuses are tools of incompetence, and those who use them. Wait a minute, I'm sorry, I messed it all up. Excuses are tools of incompetence used to build monuments of nothingness, and those who use them seldom amount to anything. Excuses are tools of incompetence used to build monuments of nothingness, and those who use them seldom amount to anything. So we say that they know this. And so to answer your question, I know it took a long time to get there, but to answer your question, I believe that my legacy is building the character of young people.
Beautiful.
Because they come back to me. Yes. Mind you, I've been teaching middle school. I've taught all the grades, but I've been teaching middle school for the past 28 years. Been teaching for 30, middle school for 28 years. I have students I have two in particular who are almost best friends with me. Like that one, I stood in his wedding last summer.
Oh.
He comes to every family gathering, every birthday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, every holiday. I have another who, her name is Sarabi Pandit. She's Indian. She's the sweetest girl ever. She was asking me advice on dating from middle school all the way through college, and she's now has her master's degree. She's married, and she still stays in touch with me. I got students from all over the place still, and it's just amazing. That is amazing to me, and
that speaks volumes on the work that you're doing.
Thank you. So I believe that is what my legacy is.
Yes, absolutely, and we will agree. We concur. So, with that amazing, tribute to the class, then just on the foundation that you've built, to the energy, the space that you created for them to feel safe and learn and have the knowledge, the key knowledge to be productive citizens.
Mhm.
When people hear the name Randy Scott years from now, what do you hope they remember beyond the music?
That I was godly, kind, um, a man of his word,
Mm,
sincere, trustworthy, all those things that I'm supposed to be. A good father, a good husband, a great friend, all of those things.
yes.
And
Yeah.
if you notice, it had nothing to do with music.
Ah,
Beyond the music, we said, so that's beautiful. Thank
mhm.
you.
Yeah. And that transition and reinvention and longevity taught you a lot about your purpose too, didn't
Oh yeah, for
it?
sure, for sure. I
Mhm.
believe um, part of a huge part of my purpose is the whole reason why I'm still teaching, because people keep asking me, when are you retiring? Uh,
Good.
uh,
Didn't want to go into the room and now you can't get out of there.
right.
That is hilarious.
Right.
So, for the creative, the entrepreneur, can't even speak right now. So, for the creative and the entrepreneur or the visionary who feels unseen right now, what would you say to someone trying to hold onto themselves while building a dream?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of failure. Failure is going to be the key to the success,
Mm,
and to
yes.
keep honing the skills, keep honing your craft,
Yeah.
but at the same time be realistic in supplementing your income so that you're not scraping and scrounging,
Right.
and able to sustain yourself without struggle. you know
Yes.
Mhm.
That is
but
real.
most importantly, um have faith in God and in
Yeah.
yourself, because that took me a minute. Having faith in, believing in yourself, that
Mhm.
took me a minute. um I'll never forget my father. My father manages me, and um
Mhm.
he said he was asking for the sky and the moon, from this particular promoter, where other big name artists were on the show. And I said, well, I don't think you should do that, because I'm not there yet. And he said, well, if you don't see yourself as a star, ain't nobody else gonna see you as a
Mm,
star.
yes.
Mhm.
You
You
better
never
come on,
explained
Dad.
it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that stuck with me.
Yeah. Yeah. If life were beginning a new chapter today for you,
Mhm.
what title would you give it?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
If life were beginning a new chapter for me today, what
What would
title?
that? Mm-hmm.
Wow, I gotta think about that.
That's okay. That's
If life were gonna give me a new title today,
Mhm.
what title would I give it?
Yes.
I don't. Oh, that's hard. Probably be yourself.
Mm.
I love that.
That's
I
wonderful.
Be
love that.
probably that. Yeah.
I
Yourself.
love that. I love
Self
that.
is powerful.
Yeah.
Everything
Tonight,
came back full circle.
yeah,
Yes.
Hmm.
did full circle to what you've been saying. Trust
Yeah.
yourself, be yourself, all of those things. Tonight reminded us that transition is not punishment,
Mm,
Mm-mm.
and redirection is not failure.
very true.
Sometimes what appears to be interruption becomes an actual invitation.
Mm,
Yes. And perhaps life changing the script was never about destroying the dream after all. Perhaps it was
Mhm.
about transforming performance into purpose,
yeah.
experience into wisdom, and survival into something capable of guiding others home.
Yeah, absolutely. Randy, we love you dearly, and I want to ask you
Uh,
this question that we often ask
sure.
our guest. If you could speak to the younger Randy before the transitions, before the uncertainty, before the rewritten chapters, what would you say?
The best is yet to come.
Mm,
Ooh, I love that.
nice.
I
That was
absolutely love that.
That's nice. That's so comforting.
because I
Yes,
couldn't see it. I couldn't see that back then. I couldn't see
Mhm,
any of that. So
yes. Uh, and Meredith commented, and I'll read Charles' question from earlier. Charles, that it just popped up. Sorry. Do you get more joy from playing live, recording in the studio, or teaching?
mm,
uh that is a great question. Um and I love each one of those, but
Differently.
they're all right. They're all different.
experiences. Yeah.
They're all different, and it's so hard to choose one. It is so
Mhm.
hard. Um, there, and I'll say this: I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. There's nothing like the feeling of having this idea in your head, or if you've ever just been doing housework or doing something and you start humming a melody in your head.
Mhm.
It's nothing like coming up with that first and then eventually molding it into the song, and it's a finished product, and you
Mhm.
either hit play or hear it on the radio. there's
Mhm.
no there's no feeling like that in the world.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's just the greatest feeling.
Yeah.
The second
Um,
Yeah.
way, there's no feeling like being on stage, whether it be in front of thousands of people or in front of just 5 or 10 people who are totally hanging on to every note that you play
Mhm.
live and just reacting to it. There's no feeling like that. It's the
Mhm.
greatest feeling.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a third way. There's no feeling like taking a kid who doesn't know what instrument they want to play. They don't even know what a note is. And then within a year and a half to 2 years, they are winning national competitions and sounding
Ooh.
amazing. There's no feeling like that. And so I say that because all three bring me such joy, and they're all three different entities, but they bring almost equal amounts of joy.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you. And Meredith said, in regards to when we were talking about your kids
Mhm.
in the classroom, she said, from that atmosphere you created, you have students who are award winning. We couldn't agree more, Meredith. And she said, I love this. We appreciate you and your support always. Thank you for tuning in. So,
Mhm.
tonight, our beautiful souls, if you take nothing else with you, let it be this: you're not disqualified because life changed directions. You're not behind because the script changed.
Mhm.
Sometimes the rewrite becomes the real story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, if tonight's conversation resonated with you, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, post, all of those things, because the words that we say on this show have actually helped to mold and shaped people.
Yes.
This is Infinite Perspectives.
Where voices become vision and vision has infinite possibilities. This is Michelle Diamond, the voice, and of course, the amazing Linda Boston, and of course, the talented, amazing, and as you see, humble and just beautiful soul, the amazing Randy Scott.
My
Thank
brother.
you.
Stay tuned, tap in, check out the workshop if you can. You're in the Detroit area or you'd like to just take a trip, check it out, go on his page. We will tag everything here for you on our site. And we'll make sure that you get connected.
I want to interject here. Your website is randyscottonline.com?
Yes.
Almost.
Right,
Yes,
no,
yes,
it's
yes.
right below Randy
That's
Scott
right.
Online.
Online.com. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
right here.
So you've got some
Scrolling on
concerts
below.
that are coming and all that, right?
Yeah, I got some things. I'm playing at the Detroit fireworks on television on June the 22nd on NBC. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we want to
Uh,
thank you for joining us. Thank you so much.
Yes. And whatever we
Thank you.
can do to continue to support, please keep us in the loop. We're here for you, our dear brother. You've been a breath of fresh air, and we love
Thank
the
you.
energy that you brought and continue uplifting those amazing souls that you have in your hands.
Thank you. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Thank you
You're
again for having me.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you all for the amazing questions and just being amazing. And Aunt Carlotta says, may God bless. Thank you, Aunt Carlotta. Love
Yes.
you. See you tomorrow. Okay,
Yeah.
until next time, guys. Love and
Okay.
light.
Peace.
How you gonna change the things around you? Oh, what you gonna love inside of you? Oh, when you gonna hear his revelation?